so first I'm going to have you guys introduce, and I know so Robin does not have too much time, so we're going to give Robin a chance to speak first here. Say a little bit about what you do for time. I said TimeStrike, right? I'm going to get that name wrong. I know I'm going to do it, but TimeStrike. And just a little bit about what you do, Robin, and what you do for the team, and what you guys are planning on this coming month too. And yeah, just basically introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, I'll give a quick intro of myself. So my name is Robin. I'm one of the engineers on the team. And my background is designing, telecom equipment to consumer electronics, to pretty much anything that you can imagine. I love manufacturing. I love bringing a product from just a concept to a real product. My biggest passion is to see people's face when they see their idea into a real thing for the first time. It's like magic to them. So that fulfills me a lot. And then I don't worry about the time with me, by the way. I think it's also fitting for all of us to quickly introduce ourselves and the mission and how we get started. I will definitely come in and to talk about my journey with the company.
Okay. Well, that's great. We will get back to you in a second then. And how about we introduce first then Shaper, Chris, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. Yep. So my name is Chris Torres. I am the head of creative direction here at Adventure Together. So my focus is really on just making sure that everything we design looks as incredible as possible, gets people as excited as possible. I have a background in fine art. So I was an artist, originally. And then I spent about the past decade working in industrial design in the space industry. So that's, designing things from phased array antennas to sort of IoT devices. I've been working a lot with Robin on taking some of these designs and bringing them to life. That's actually how we met. But yeah, as far as the team is concerned, I'm squarely focused on making sure everything looks fantastic.
Awesome. And how about, let's see here, I'm getting names out. Anthony. Go ahead. Introduce yourself next.
I'm Anthony. I also go by Salpy. I am the head of game development at Adventure Together. So I spend 99% of my time thinking about mechanics, working on rule books, and play testing. Lots and lots and lots of play testing and gathering feedback. I have a background in software development. I used to be I used to stream and play a lot of games and do game reviews. So this is kind of the route that I've always wanted to take as far as just working on games.
Gotcha. Awesome. I'm glad to have you with us. And then, let's see here. Wait. I'm sorry. Oh, my poor eyes. Okay. Nicholas Himaro, go ahead.
Thank you, Tails. Yeah, my name is Nicholas Mastoris. I am the program director at Adventure Together Games. My role at the company is to make sure we are staying on track. I play a large part of working with our community, spreading the word, and I think Chris puts me best as Goku. I'm just a happy-go-lucky kind of guy that just loves to go with the flow and have a good time and make sure everyone's with us along that journey. And my background, I have 10 years in UX for building applications, so I have designed sophisticated applications, and I have my certificate in user experience. And I also have worked as a program manager in the intermodal and shipping industry for about the last 10 years. And like I said, it's my job, keep the team on track and make sure that the community is up to date with everything that TimeStrike and Adventure Together are working on.
And quick question. Now, Are you talking about regular Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Goku or Team 4-Star Goku?
I think Chris is going to have to answer that, but I'm pretty sure it's just Z.
Okay.
You're muted, Chris.
Yeah, regular Goku. DBZ.
Okay. No, I've watched a lot of Team 4-Star. That's the only way I know Dragon Ball Z is from that that parody. Okay, Bob, aka Andrew. Go ahead and introduce
Hello. I'm Andrew Kwasnick, also known as Bob Loki. I've been part of the team now for a year and a half, almost, probably maybe even a little longer than that. I'm an investor, and I've been helping run the Discord. My background is in machine learning engineering. So that's what I do for my real life job. But I love what we're planning on doing here and having hopefully some really good conversations about the future of this project, and talking about the applications we're going to build, the open source, environment we want to have around this. And a lot of that involves fun software engineering. So me and Salpy will probably be doing a lot of software engineering.
Okay, well, that's interesting. So, and that was, and my next question come to mind then, before we get back to Robin then, is this game, or are there going to be future games that are like digital, or is there going to be a mix of that, or is that for future plans?
I can answer that. Currently, the plan is to keep it physical.
Okay.
The digital aspect will come more into the rulebook community sharing. We want to create a tool for independent developers to streamline their playtesting progress and gather feedback. It mainly came from us not having that resource and struggling through what we went through, and seeing that if we could kind of make an application to help people, guide them through getting their ideas to the board, that's what we want to push for.
Yeah.
One
One of the things that I noticed first, joining this group, was just the power of the source tile we have. The power that you can make so many unique games, and facilitating that. Because like going into the board game store, which I do pretty much every weekend, and you did it today, was walking around and looking at all of the hundreds of boards that exist there, and just saying, well, you can figure out how you want to make your game, we'll provide you the tiles. And you can build your incredible vision, not have to worry about the manufacturing of so much stuff. And here's this open source. You want to put something on top of it? Go for it.
Sure.
Yeah, I was gonna add the other thing that I think especially the HeroScape community will be excited about on the digital side is we are working on a map building tool. So you should be able to build your own maps in digital space, share those maps, and very quickly get a PDF that spits out that gives you build instructions. The other piece of it is custom units. So for TimeStrike and probably most of the games we create, I think from the get we are going to try and empower the custom community to go ahead and start building their own characters, so they can play the way they want to play. And creating a path for that to become official in game rules and game lore. So those are two other things we're going to do on the digital side.
I want to add on to that. So when Chris first shared the project with me, and I've asked him the same question, like, hey, this idea is so cool. It sounds like it could turn into a digital version. And what Chris said was very, very powerful, and I still remember to this day. The game was the idea come around like the COVID lockdown period, and that's when we all work from home, we all got locked in, stay at home, and it was a very difficult time, and people yearn for the in-person communication, the face-to-face communication. And we felt the digital games, although they are great, incredible, but they only serve to kind of put people in isolation, versus a physical board game actually brings people together. And that's part of why the game is called Adventure Together. And Chris shared with me his story of his family loves play board games, and every time when they pull out a board game, the whole family is together, gathering around the table. It also reminded me of my childhood as well, playing games with my parents. So the physical aspect is absolutely very important.
No, that's understandable. I think when it comes to creating the ToV podcast, but I mean Tales of How the Aftermath Chronicles as well. One of my goals was bringing parents and their kids together, just because I mean how often does a family gather at the kitchen table or the table anymore? It's far and few between now, and we really need to get back to those basics. We really do. So no, I totally acknowledge those goals, and yeah, for sure.
That's the main reason I had kids is I'm playing the long game. I could have constant board game players. So
that's exactly what my dad did.
Oh, my son, he already has his own case of like HeroScape miniatures. He doesn't know how to play the game. He just loves the how the miniatures look, the dragons and the airborne elite and such. He loves the visual side of it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think that's something that we're realizing more and more, is that Source is not only a tool for the experienced tabletop gamer either. Just an experience that I had that really opened up a few years ago when we first got our prototypes of Source. My son opened it up and he built it, and then he started smashing it, and he's 2 years old and he's putting these hexes together. That's how simple they are. And then he's smashing it with monster trucks, and he's taking these big monster trucks and he's running through. Actually, I was at my brother's house, Anthony, and he's at his house and he's just smashing through these, and we took videos of it because we're like, tested by a toddler, durable, they're not going to break for you.
Oh, there you go.
But it really just opened my eyes to, like, this is something bigger. This is not something that is just for your super experienced tabletop gamer. This is not even something that is limiting. And that's something that I think has become a theme for us, not only with TimeStrike and Source, but at Adventure Together, is that we've been constantly removing boundaries from ourselves. And we've been constantly saying, why are things the way that they are? And a lot of times we always looked at what the industry was doing and we said, well, why are they doing it this way? And we remove those boundaries. And we always are working to push those limits. And what we found is not all those boundaries were necessary, and now we've created something that is truly boundless on multiple levels. Source is used by a wide variety of people. It is very tactile. It brings people together. It has no age limit. Even our games, they don't have a player limit. It's something that nobody has really done, is say, well, we want 2 to 4 players, when we can say TimeStrike, theoretically, if you have enough pieces, if you have enough time, you could play 60 players, 80 players, 100 players, because it's infinitely scalable. And that was a key for us at Adventure Together, is accessibility by everyone. And Source accomplishes that on many different levels.
I do have a question for you, Nick. For all the people that just stumble upon this podcast and that doesn't know who we are and our products, what are Source and what is TimeStrike? Like, look at this awesome background. Like,
let's get to the basics before we talk about how you guys got started with all this, how this began. Yeah, what is a TimeStrike? What is Source? What is this? And I know you guys have a unique story behind it too. You got unique lore, which we might talk a little bit about tonight too. But what is this about?
Sure. So I guess I can tackle what Source is. So Source is a modular, infinitely scalable tabletop gaming system. It was designed to be open source so that anyone out there, any independent creator that has their own idea can sort of bring that to life on the Source system. Some of the things that make it unique compared to other, let's say, modular and scalable tabletop gaming systems is they have non-interlocking hexes. It's a patent pending system as well, by the way. And these are some of the novel things that we did to sort of make this, uniquely our own. Yeah, one is it's non-interlocking, which means that these tiles and these hexes, they sort of logically align next to each other with their sort of contoured edges, as opposed to needing like an interlocking mechanism. What we found was a lot of these systems had breakage problems due to those interlocking hexes. It also was limiting because you couldn't then build and or destroy during gameplay. And I saw that as a unique opportunity. I was like, really wanted to be able to destroy the landscape while I played a game, and or start to build a mountain if I wanted to mid-game. And so that becomes very difficult with interlocking edges. The other is each one of these hexes and tiles has this beautiful, really high resolution biome artwork applied to the surface. So we looked out at what was being done in digital gaming, and we saw these amazing environmental artists creating landscapes and textures for buildings or for worlds in the digital space. We said, why can't we bring that to tabletop? So we work with a lot of environmental artists to sort of bring to life these beautiful biomes. And at launch, we're going to have close to 70 unique biomes just coming out of the gate in this Kickstarter. So that's an area that we see as another really big differentiator for us. Is look at any other modular system out there, you're not going to get this beautiful level of artistic fidelity in each and every piece. And then also they're omnidirectional. So no matter which way you place your hex or your tile, you're not going to get repeating patterns. Everything's always going to look really organic and natural. that's another area that we see customization becoming possible. So if you want to build your own game on it, you're going to want your own biomes. So we're going to release templates. We're going to make that really easy for you. So there's lots of ways that you just at home can go ahead and start to customize the system as well. What else? Did I miss anything, guys? Oh, the last bit is there's edges around the source system, which allows for component management. So oftentimes I'll be playing tabletop games. I just got really frustrated that no game comes out of the box with a solution for all the bits and parts and pieces and dice. And so, I didn't like that it was distracting from the game. It wasn't as immersive as I wanted it to be, that I was constantly having to ask the person across the table for me, hey, could you hand me a couple dice? Or, I have to get a ramekin and fill it with hit markers. So Source System has component management built in to make that all really easy. No matter what game you're playing on it, you can sort of spread out the components before you even start to play so that everyone has access to what they need. But in a nutshell, that's kind of what the Source System is. Those are the unique sort of features that we designed into it. But ultimately, I think the impact it has on the world, and it's the reason we've named it Source, is that as an open source tool, we think it'll be empowering people for hopefully decades to come to build their own unique experiences on top of it. And that is something we haven't seen any other publisher do. Build a game and then say this game is, you can look at Dungeons and Dragons, of course, which is a pretty great example. But in the industry specifically with a physical product, we think it's pretty unique how we're attempting to sort of open source this and empower everyone else to use it.
And Timescape is just a part of that too. So there'll be other games and systems to incorporate it as well in the future.
Yeah, Tony, maybe you could talk about TimeStrike.
Sorry, TimeStrike. Oh my goodness, I'm going to get that wrong all the
That's
time.
TimeStrike 2.
Well, tomorrow we'll talk a little bit about it now and why.
So, TimeStrike. You could definitely see the inspiration that we took from HeroScape as far as the wargaming world on a 3D board and building it up. What we experimented with, though, is a kind of more novel idea, and it kind of just erupted out of all these different ideas that we wanted to put in the game. So we're like, oh, we want monsters, we want mining, we want building, we want fishing, we want this, that, and then we also an idea that Chris came up with was like the scalable miniatures. So miniatures that have slots on them that miniatures can crawl on top of other miniatures. And what was born out of that was a boss battle royale. So essentially, the overview of the game is that you will draft a team of characters, and the characters all have unique abilities, stats, progression, curses, buffs, all sorts of things, height, the amount of units you can use. And you'll pick your team, you'll draft your team, and you'll plop them down on the board, and it's really just who is the last remaining. So you'll be fighting each other, but you'll also have this massive boss on the board that's, exploding, cursing people, destroying the landscape. And a really unique idea around it is that we kind of use him as the control point. So you're actually fighting on his back for control. So if you are all the way up top on the boss, you get to control his next card. So if his next card says go and destroy, land wherever and just attack something, like you're going to fight for that top position. And there's lots of different things that he's doing. And another mechanic that came out of that people were familiar with Battle Royales is he'll spawn these tentacles throughout the game that slowly just make the board more and more dangerous and increase his strength and just whip around, every few cards. So we have a lot of unique mechanics in there and a lot of sandbox elements as far as you can go right to try and tame monsters, or you can go, mining and fishing, or you can go right to attacking other players. There's a lot of different mechanics that we've built into it to make it feel a little bit more open to decisions and feel like you're doing a couple things on your turn rather than just one action. You can say, oh, I want to go fish, and then I want to go to mining, and then I want to go jump on the boss or something like that. So there's a lot of depth in every turn. It feels like a little adventure within every turn because there's so many options available. It's a little overwhelming at first, I must say, because everyone's like, what do you mean I could just choose whatever I want to do? But overall, it's come into a really fun experience, and it's really, eventually comes easy to, what is it? It's easy to learn, hard to master kind of mentality.
It makes me want to like just dive into a rule book just that much more, just to be like, okay, I need to find out everything in the mechanics of this.
Well, I'm sold. I'm all in.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I was sold at the first trailer. I mean, it was a year and a half, 2 years ago, and I'm just like, okay, this is something new. I'm like, I'm intrigued, and yeah.
It's also very important to know that this game was developed because everyone on this team, we love HeroScape. And at the time when we first had the inception of the idea, there was no sight in seeing that, there's going to be a Reborn. And we work on the idea for a long time. And then the news came out that, hey, Hasbro is bringing HeroScape back. And that actually got a lot of us very excited. We would love to see them success because it's one of our favorite game. But then seeing their their fundraising didn't go through, and that was like a bummer for all of us. And then that makes us feel more determined to, hey, we want to bring our games out to serve the community too, because clearly there is a demand there. We are the players. We want to bring this to the world. So we're glad you're excited about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and I've followed its development as much as I could over the last couple of years as well. I've kept in contact with Chris a little bit, and so all this, and even back then, I didn't have this podcast. This podcast wasn't here. It stemmed off along the way, and so it gave good opportunity as a platform to talk about things like this, because ultimately we do this because we do love HeroScape. It's one of those things that we consider it the greatest game of all time. But anything that's HeroScape like, or people who love HeroScape, we'd love to have on board. We'd love to see what other things that people can build, what other worlds people can build.